easy to find their way around. In modern times, Granada kept its colonial atmosphere and its colonial flavor and its colonial structure, and it hasn't changed anything. If you see pictures of Granada taken in the 1860s, except for the modes of transportation, they're the same. If you took down the telephone wires and took a picture here in black and white, it would be just the same as it was 100 years ago. As a result of that, for example, we still have these coches or horse-drawn carriages. This is not something that's been put in for tourism. These are coaches that have been used here continuously for generation after generation. There are still 2 or 3 towns in Nicaragua that have coaches or carriages because that's the way they've always done things, and it's cheaper to get around.
That was fun.
Now, Rodrigo and Tammy, here we are in front of the San Francisco Church and Convent. In the convent here, what we have is a large building that now has one of the best museums in Nicaragua. It has probably the best example of Central American statuaries that has been put together, and it really gives one a really good feel of what old Nicaragua really was like. So why don't we go inside and take a look?
We're standing in the middle of a beautiful colonial courtyard. It used to be a convent in the late 1500s, established by the Franciscan priests here in Granada.
Granada is a great place to find information about pre-Columbian times in Nicaragua. For example, what the Indians used to do is when they had good crops, they played 2 games, the flyer and the sacred swing. The flyer consists of putting a god on the top of a pole, and 2 men or children swung around it in circles. And the sacred swing, it's kind of like a teeter-totter, except you go around the whole way. Kind of weird, huh?
Let me introduce you to the Alligator Man. This is a large statue that's been found very close by Granada here. This was found by America's first ambassador to Nicaragua, Ephraim Squires, in the early 1850s. We also have some of the statues back there that may have been used in building temples and holding up big pieces of rafters and things. It is the best example of stone art that I believe exists in Central America, and it's one of the things that makes Nicaragua so interesting.
After our tour of Granada, we visited the Isletas, just a short drive away from the city. There are more than 300 islands on the shores of Granada. According to a theory, they are the product of the explosion of Mombacho volcano about 50,000 years ago. A relaxing boat ride through the Isletas or little islands of Granada is a must when you visit this beautiful and interesting city. Located near the shores of Lake Nicaragua, the only sweetwater lake in the world with sharks in it.
Existe en la bahía de Great Town y a lo largo del río San Juan y eventualmente en el lago de Nicaragua una especie única de tiburón de agua dulce que ha ido invadiendo estas aguas a partir del Mar Caribe, penetrando a la bahía de Great Town, remontando el río San Juan y adaptándose a la vida dulce de las aguas del lago de Nicaragua.
The Isletas are inhabited by a large variety of birds and other animals and offer breathtaking views of the volcano and the surrounding nature, especially at dusk.
The Isletas are home to humble fishermen and wealthy vacation homes. Our friends here are having their first Nicaraguan vacation, and they seem to be having a lot of fun.
There are many little hotels and homes in the islands, with restaurants and many water activities for the whole family. We saw some water skiers as well as fishermen during our excursion, and it looks like they were having so much fun.
We say goodbye to Granada
And to Mr. Werner for now, while we enjoy this peaceful exploration of the Isletas of Granada. Before the Panama Canal was built, and during the gold rush, Granada was a major stopping point for travelers who wanted to get from New York to California. Commodore Cornelius Vanderbilt's shipping lines would come in from the Atlantic, go up the San Juan River, and cross Lake Nicaragua in order to continue their trip to the Pacific by stagecoach from Granada.
Today we are going to do just the opposite. We will fly to the town of San Carlos at the place where Lake Nicaragua meets the mighty San Juan River. and embark in the most exciting part of our adventures in Nicaragua, the trip down Rio San Juan.
San Carlos is the location where Lake Nicaragua, the only freshwater lake in the world with sharks, meets Rio San Juan. We traveled there with Dr. Jaime Ainset, Nicaraguan scientist, and Dr. William Davidson, naturalist from Louisiana State University. With these two knowledgeable men to lead us in our adventures, we were in for fun and voyages beyond anything we had ever done before. Our first stop in our Rio San Juan adventure is Los Huatuzos Wildlife Reserve. Our guide Armando is going to show us some really amazing things that you can do here.
But first of all, what is the reserve?
La reserva de los Huatuzos es humedal, digamos, la mayor parte de la reserva es humedal. Son zonas que el hombre no puede penetrar ahí, entonces es casa de animales, de caimanes, de insectos, de aves. Y en la parte alta de los árboles pueden encontrar epífitas como orquídeas, bromelias, anturium y muchas cosas más.
Can't wait.
Vamos.
Let's go. Look what I found. This is what they call the red-blooded frog, but you gotta watch out. They're poisonous. There's a story that the Indians used to cook them and make poison darts out of them. Cool, huh? Los Huatuzos Wildlife also includes a butterfly nursery. When you visit any of the butterflies' greenhouses, you will have the opportunity to admire hundreds of beautiful colored butterflies. Believe it or not, this is a worm. These animals are mimetic, meaning that they camouflage so that their predators won't eat them. These are actually caterpillars that will turn into beautiful butterflies. There's also a turtle nursery. The facility has an area of 100 square meters for incubation of the eggs. The eggs are collected from the wild from February to April. When they are born, there are thousands of little turtles crawling around in boxes. Some of the newborn turtles are sold to the international pet market, and a percentage of them are released to the wild 3 months after they are born. No less than 389 species of birds have been observed at the reserve, and between February and April, tens of thousands of migratory species fly through. There is a caiman farm as well. The little crocs grow at a rate of 15 centimeters every year. There are an extraordinary number of hatchlings, few juveniles, and almost no adult caiman. There are more females than males, 1.3 females to every male. Tammy was too scared to touch one, but I actually held one in my hands, just like the crocodile hunter. Squishy. I can't believe I'm holding a real caiman in my hands. Then they brought out a turtle, and it was the ugliest turtle we had ever seen. It was slimy and large. As soon as they start moving, I start running.
Este es una tortuga lagarto, nombre de común, nombre científico es Chelira serpentina.
This is really interesting because it's a living fossil. These were present in the dinosaur times.
Y miras unos gusanitos que tienen abajo de la cabeza, como dos gusanitos. Ese es para engañar a los peces. Los peces llegan a comerse los gusanitos y él les pega el tapazo.
Huatuzos, there is a hanging bridge where you can see the thick canopy of the trees below. We scratched through knee-high mud in boots through the deepest of jungles and in an unbearable heat to reach the hanging bridge. There, After trekking up many stairs, we finally reached the top, making the whole ordeal worthwhile. It was an amazing view of the tall trees from above.
After that day's adventures, we took a boat ride to Solentiname, an island in Lake Nicaragua, where we spent the night. There we saw artisans making wooden sculptures and painting primitivistic works of art. The famous Nicaraguan writer and poet Ernesto Cardenal went to those islands after becoming a priest and started the artist colony, teaching the people how to paint and do other crafts as well.
Since the 16th century, Rio San Juan has been traveled by many explorers, merchants, buccaneers, and pirates, not to mention sharks and crocodiles. Over the centuries, it has been the setting of many battles, stories, and exciting adventures. Even Mark Twain wrote about it in his journals.
Next, we will stay at our Rio San Juan headquarters, Sábalos Lodge.
Sábalos Lodge is located right at the water's edge. It is a group of rustic huts in which the word adventure acquires a whole new meaning. The accommodations are so awesome that Tarzan would be green with envy.
This is Sábalos Lodge, and he is Yaro Praslin, our host and guide during our adventure down the San Juan River.
Hi, welcome. Would you like to hold this for me? Sure. This is Sábalos Lodge. This is an eco place, it's an eco hotel. We have 11 rooms, all huts, and for the convenience of everybody, we have horses, trails, walking trails, we have kayaks, we have bicycles, and a lot of other things that you can do. We also take people to the reserve, which is one of the biggest reserves in Nicaragua. And I'd like to show you around. If you follow me, please. This is our lobby. This is where we receive our guests. And this is where we offer them drinks. Mainly all the fruits are from the farm. And here's where we have our fishing rods. We have rooms in top for backpackers. We have bathrooms and toilets and wash basins on the other side. And also this will lead us to the restaurant. Will you follow me to the restaurant, please?
Sure.
Oh, right away, we do have a phone that connects us to Managua. Okay, 24 hours a day. We have a lot of people every month that they're coming from Europe, United States, and Central America, included Nicaragua. It's quite a few people that visit us every month. I would like to show you now the Tarzan's Lodge. Okay, this room is for one couple, and it's got a full bathroom and a bed and a little balcony that goes right over the river. From here you can see the tarpon where they jump in the water. Right now it's a little early, but later on you will be able to see them. Fishing here is beautiful. Tarpon weighs anywhere from 75 to 200 pounds, and they fight for about 2 or 3 hours. It's one of the most wanted fish for the fishermen. That's our family house. It's good for up to 5 people. Here in Rio San Juan, we have lots of different types of animals, like reptiles, amphibians, mammals, birds, and fishes. For instance, we have here an ocelot. This it belongs in the wilderness over here, and there's quite a few of them. We also have snakes. Today in the morning, doctor saw a snake in one of the trees. It's a long snake, black with yellow, and sometimes green. But it's harmless, it doesn't do anything, but they get to be real big. And in the United States, they pay a lot of money for one of those to have them as pets. We have other species like reptiles and amphibians. We also have the red-eyed tree frog, and reptiles. We have Basiliscus plumifera, which is called gallego verde en español.
Que es una especie de lagartija que tiene la característica de desarrollar gran velocidad, tanto que puede cruzar el río sin hundirse, usando sus 2 patas traseras e impulsándose con la cola. Y es sorprendente a veces verlas cruzar el ancho de todo un río. Y mucha gente le llama a las lagartijas Jesucristos, porque por eso mismo que caminan sobre el agua sin hundirse, ¿verdad?
This is called a garpike. It's got the head of an alligator. It doesn't have any scales, and it has to come out for air. It's got lungs. They grow up to be about 6 or 7 feet long, and they weigh anywhere from 60 to 100 pounds, the heaviest.
Our guide Yaro led us downriver to go to the Castillo de la Inmaculada Concepción, the ancient ruins of a castle set on a hilltop over the most difficult rapid called Raudal el Diablo. Its construction was assigned to the artillery, General Fernando Francisco de Escobedo, and construction began in 1673. This is Professor Inced, one of the most famous historians and geographers in Nicaragua. What is the importance of this castle? ¿Cuál es la importancia de este castillo?
Este castillo, que fue construido por los españoles hace más de 330 años, se levantó aquí para defender el paso del río contra las invasiones primero de piratas y después contra invasores ingleses que trataron de tomarse esta posición para invadir Nicaragua. En una de esas ocasiones, una niña de apenas 18 años tomó un cañón y desde este punto donde estamos bombardeó unas naves inglesas que venían avanzando sobre el río detrás de nosotros. Ella era la hija del capitán a cargo de este castillo, que había recién muerto, y los soldados estaban ya dispuestos a rendirse, y ella dijo: no, tenemos que defender este castillo, y ella personalmente tomó el cañón, hizo el disparo, animó a la tropa y así evitó que esa invasión se llevase a cabo.
Since 1993, El Castillo has become a kind of museum where you can read the history of the place in its panels and see many objects from that era.
Remember when I told you about the pirates and buccaneers? Well, he even wrote a book about them, so he can tell us. Why was this fortress so important?
Este castillo se construyó para detener a los piratas que venían por el río a atacar Nicaragua, especialmente tomarse la ciudad de Granada. En 2 ocasiones ellos avanzaron por este río y sorprendieron la ciudad de Granada y la asaltaron.